Hello students, and welcome to the online portion of the board game strategy course that I've created for you. I've created this site so that you can have access to the rules and the setup and some strategy of each of the games that we're going to be using this year, as well as a couple of quick assessments to see how well you're understanding how to set up the game, how to play it, and how to implement some of those strategies. My intention behind creating this website is to give you access to some of the things that I've taught you and demonstrated so that you can play this game at home. Or you can play this game in the classroom without me having to come over and answer some of the questions. I know that especially as you begin learning how to play some of these board games, it's difficult to remember all of the elements that I've taught you. If you check each of the folders that I have here for the games Dominion, Risk, and Ticket to Ride, it should be an easy way for you to answer some of those questions on your own, and then if I'm not available, you can try and answer some of those questions and solve your own problems. Before you get started, I suggest going into the Watch Me First folder. Inside that folder, I have some videos to help you understand how to move through this page if you have any questions after we go through here. Just to take a quick look at how these lessons are going to be set up, I'm going to start with Dominion. Each of the lessons should be set up the same way, so you're going to have a setup and overview. This just helps you figure out how to get the game set up as soon as you take it out of the box and understand what the game looks like, just to help you remember how to play each of these. There'll be a rules folder for each of the games that explains the rules of those games and how to play. So if you have any questions about the rules as you're going through the game, rather than waiting for me to come over and help you, I would suggest going into the rules folder and seeing if you can answer that question with the people that you're playing with. Each of the games will have a folder for your strategy. This will just help you figure out what moves to make as you get started on the game, because I know at the beginning it can be tempting to just move your pieces around or pick up cards in Dominion and not really have an idea of how to win. The strategy section of each of these sites will give you an idea about how you can start thinking about setting up a plan so that you can, from the beginning of the game, develop a system to help yourself win. Each of the folders is going to have a discussion section so that you can post any questions or ideas that you might have about playing the game for your classmates to see, especially if you have an interesting strategy that you want to share with us, just to see if other people have an idea about how they could make that strategy better. This would be a good place to do that. After you've had a couple of opportunities to play each of these games, I'm going to have you complete the setup check and the strategy check for each of the games. These are just here so that I can get some information from you about how well you're understanding each of these games. An important element of playing these games well is knowing how to set them up, thus the setup check. And then I want to see if you understand how to implement some of the strategy that I'm teaching you, and that's what the strategy check is here for. I'm going to go back to the home page for this just so you can see that each of the lessons is set up the same way with the overview and setup, the rules, the strategy, a discussion, and the checks of both the rules and the strategy. After you've had a chance to play each of these games some and get a feel for how they all work, I'm going to have you take a final assessment so that you can just explain how you understand each of the games in an overview. My ideas behind using the strategy board games is that it helps you to develop some critical thinking and planning skills that are difficult to teach in the classroom using the curriculum. And I think whenever we sit down and play board games like this, it gives us an opportunity to really plan ahead and then respond to what people around us do. A lot of times we see board games imitate the way you have to think whenever you work with other people. So I like the way that the board game, and especially these 3 board games, force you to really plan ahead but then adjust to what people around you are doing. Best of luck as you get started on this course. If you have any questions as we go through it, you're welcome to send me an email through Schoology. You can post something to the discussion forum, or of course during class time you're welcome to come up and speak to me.